Google returns features following a Sonos fumble. Recap. Google and Sonos have been locked in a patent war for the last few years, which in early 2022 resulted in Google losing a case regarding controlling multiple speakers together in a group. Rather than pay Sonos a licensing fee, Google pushed software turning off that relevant feature on devices that users had already bought. I spoke out about this at the time, and my take on this was, Google, you actually may not just remove features from devices that you sold advertising those features. I am personally very frustrated by this Google Sonos tiff because it affects me personally. I invested in Sonos hardware knowingly because it had excellent integration with Google Play Music. And I described this on a recent When show or other recent video. I can't remember when, and some people seemed to kind of misunderstand what I meant. I know that you can still use YouTube Music with Sonos. The problem is you have to use Sonos's clunky, crappy app. And honestly, even the speaker grouping is clunkier in Sonos's app compared to the extremely elegant integration that was in Google Play Music. So I never touched the Sonos app. I just would come home and I would be listening to whatever I'm listening to in my headphones, and I would go into Google Play Music, and then I would just use the cast button, the normal cast button, and I would just click it, and then I could click a speaker, or I could click a few speakers and confirm. And I don't know if it supported like static groupings. I actually can't remember because I haven't seen the interface in years, but it was amazing because it was just continuous. And then when I was on my way out, I would actually be able to walk out the door and just flip it back to my headphones and be good to go. It was just continuous music, and it was so seamless, and it was awesome. And then Google deprecated Play Music, and then because of their patent tiff with Sonos, have never integrated that same functionality into YouTube Music. And it sucks. I know that Spotify has integration with Sonos. It is not as good. It is really clunky and inelegant by comparison. Gremlin Injector asks, but why did you trust Sonos? Don't you know better after their bricking debacle? I think Sonos learned an important lesson after the bricking debacle, which, if you paid close attention to it, you'll know never happened. Nothing is bricked. Everything still works, which is great. So yeah. I mean, anything smart can just disappear, which really sucks and is bad. But it seems like they actually learned something. Handyman says, LMAO what? Nothing compares to Spotify Connect. Do you know that? Did you use it? Okay, then. Cool.
I also have a counter.
Yeah.
Spotify Connect does not come with YouTube Premium.
Yeah. But also, I considered just switching over to Spotify just if it had really good integration, and it just didn't. I'm sorry, it didn't. It was not as good. It was not as clean. It was not as seamless. Google Play Music was really, really awesome with the integration with Sonos.
Come on, what do you mean? Come on. I'm going to subscribe to my thing on Spotify is if you watch a lot of YouTube, I don't think it's worth it, because if you watch a lot of YouTube Premium is actually fantastic, and it comes with YouTube Music, which is a not amazing app, but it still gets you basically all of your music. You can listen to it without ads. It gets you the 80% of Spotify. Maybe it doesn't get you 100%, but it gets you the 80% of Spotify, and it's not another subscription service you have to get. I don't know.
Anyway, as someone who had serious frustration with this situation, I basically went, look, Google, this is your product you sold, and the feature no longer works, and that really sucks. I wish you guys would just pay the licensing fee. However, it seems like, according to the facts of the case, Google may have been right here. So last Friday, a judge decided that some of the patents in the case were invalid and threw out the decision on the grounds that 2 of the 5 patents were actually filed in 2019, and Sonos inappropriately tied them to its 2006 applications so that it would appear as though they predated Google's devices. Google's immediate response to this overruling was to push an update restoring some of the old features. That update was released on Tuesday, 2 business days after the decision. Google likewise released a blog post calling for patent reform. This is not the only recent setback for Sonos, who apparently have been trying and failing to address an infamous problem with their $900 Sonos Arc soundbars that causes the device to occasionally emit a loud bang, described by many users as similar to a gunshot.
Oh,
I've never heard this. I have an Arc. Maybe it's only certain revisions of the hardware. I don't know.
That's not great.
Sonos attributes the problem to an interoperability issue with Dolby Atmos and has advised users to turn it off and switch to Dolby 5.1. Complaints about the issue go back at least 2 years. Okay, in that case, I don't know. I have never experienced this with mine, but who knows? Maybe that time I thought that someone was firing a gun in my living room. It was actually my Arc. No, I'm kidding. I've never heard.
You never know.
Our discussion question here is a good one. When companies remove a substantial feature from a device or a service, should they be obligated to offer a refund? I think that's the least that they can do. I
feel like they should have to do something.
Or you know what? Speaking of patent reform, what about this? What if pending the results of the litigation, Google pays the licensing fees into an escrow account that is returned to Google with, interest or something like that from Sonos if they win, or goes to Sonos if ultimately they lose. But at the end of the day, this shouldn't be impacting the customer. That is definitely not the right way.
I agree.
I just want Google Play Music back so that I can cast to my speakers properly. Sorry.
It's okay.
I tried. I wanted to what is it called? DTS Connect or something like that? Is that what it's called? I can't remember. What's that other one called? SVS has a box streaming. SVS Prime. Yeah, here it is. The SVS Prime. I really wanted to like this thing. On paper, it's awesome. It seems like a high quality amp, and the hardware seems great. It's AirPlay 2 compatible. I don't have an iPhone, but the way that it worked for me was through, I want to say, DTS Play-Fi. Yeah, this is their audio over Wi-Fi solution, and it's behind. Last time I used it, okay. Full disclosure, SVS would have given me a sick deal to outfit my house with those, such that it would have been, I don't know what exactly they were offering. I don't remember, but it definitely, what I know is from talking to Jake about it, it would have been cheaper than the used last gen Sonos boxes I bought.
Oh, wow.
And I would have had brand new Prime Wireless Pros. And I just said, forget it. And I just bought them. If I had fewer zones, I think from my experience with it, it was fine, but I don't remember the exact details.
You have a lot of zones.
Yeah, I ran into some kind of an issue, and I basically went, okay, forget it. I can't really do this anymore.
By the way, Sop Cannon in Flipplane Chat says that they're having that pop issue that you were describing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
so apparently that is a thing.
Well, Sop Cannon maybe should stop firing the cannon.
Stop pop cannon?
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah, I know.
Actually terrible.